PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, where we break down every single game of the 2023-2024 season, we're going to be talking about Game 3 of Round 1 of the 2024 Stanley Cup Playoffs, where your Vegas Golden Knights came back to the Fortress here in the city of Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena and taking on Dallas Stars. And this was a matchup where we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. There's some things that were good. There's some things that were bad. And there was one incredible performance that absolutely deserves player of the game. Now, before we get into that, before we really recap the game itself, go to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. Check out all the amazing content on the network. We have about a dozen shows on the platform, including Vegas Hockey Hub. So go to the website, www.prconnectionsradio.com, or go to the YouTube channel at PR Connections and subscribe, as it helps out the network. If you want to follow our content, we also post exclusive content onto the YouTube channel at Vegas Hockey Hub. We have a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, where we post our content that we do every single day, going to events, going to practices, going to games. We upload all of that to our YouTube channel and all of our social medias at Vegas Hockey Hub. And if you want to support your host, I'm also on social media as well on all platforms at Ian J. Rachiele. Now, this game was really incredible from start to finish. I really wish it had a better ending than what actually ended up happening, but we will break down that game entirely and everything that was going on. But in the pregame notes, there's some stuff we have to go over. So the first thing we have to mention is the practices, because on Friday, there was a morning skate and there was multiple players out. Okay, there was multiple players out. Defenseman Kanan Korczak, he came up from Henderson. He was skating in where Alex Pietrangelo was at. There was people who were worried because there was like 5 guys missing. Pietrangelo was gone. Marchessault was gone. Carlson was gone. There was a bunch of people gone from morning practice. And then we found out from Bruce Cassidy that 4 of the 5 players was a maintenance day. Now, if you don't know what that is, if you're a casual fan, I will explain to you what a maintenance day is. Every once in a while, players will get a maintenance day where they are not required to participate in practice. They're essentially given a IOU. They're essentially given a off day in order to not be at practice. So that's what happened to 4 of those guys. That's what happened to Pietrangelo. That's what happened to Marchessault. That's what happened to some of those guys. Now, William Karlsson was the only exception. All right, William Karlsson, and now we're not going to speculate. We're not going to say if it was an injury. We're not going to say if it's family related. We're not going to speculate at all. What we're going to say is this. In the Friday practice, William Karlsson was not at practice, and Pavel Dorofeev was skating in that session. Fast forward to Saturday, the morning of Game 3. William Karlsson was the only player not participating in practice. And Pavel Dorofeev was once again skating around. And when you saw the morning skate and the line combinations, it was kind of questionable in seeing what the lines were going to be, because that was a huge deal. We did not know if he was going to play or not. That was a speculation there. So heading into the game, we did not know. We had no clarification. There was no update. But finally, about an hour before puck drop, it was announced. It was finalized, the starting lineup, and William Karlsson was in, and Pavel Dorofeev was back as a healthy scratch. And that was a good news for Vegas. I mean, William Karlsson is a big core member of this team, original misfit, and more importantly, considering what he did in the last postseason, he is a very vital stick to have in the middle 6 for your Vegas Golden Knights. Now, also in the pregame notes, Logan Thompson back in net once again for your Vegas for your Vegas Golden Knights. And Logan Thompson, he did incredible in the first 2 games. This was a Logan Thompson who has only let up 4 goals up to that point. All right, that was it. He only let up 1 goal in game 2, and he let up 3 goals in game 1. This was a Logan Thompson who so far, right here, right now, is the MVP of the Vegas Golden Knights in this postseason. It is no understatement. It is no exaggeration that Logan Thompson has been the best player on the Golden Knights. If you do not have Logan Thompson in net, you are not up in this series right now, 2-1. What an incredible job Logan Thompson did in the first 2 games. And then, wow, what an amazing performance Logan Thompson did in this game 3. Now, I do want to give credit, by the way, and I will shout them out. New York, the BetMGM Sportsbook. I had an incredible time going there, watching some of the baseball games, watching the basketball game. You know, the Nuggets and Lakers, that was on before the Golden Knights game, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Boston Bruins. That was a fun spectacle. So I do have to give a personal shout out to New York, and BetMGM Sportsbook, because I had some drinks, I had some food, I was at their sportsbook. They are really good at what they do. So I have to give them a shout out. I had a fun time over at the sportsbook at BetMGM before heading over to T-Mobile Arena to watch game 3 of the Dallas Stars Vegas Golden Knights game. And really to kick this game off, you can kind of tell early on that something was going to happen in this game. And let me explain what I mean by this. It was very unfortunate that you could tell early in the game, the first couple of minutes, the offense was not aggressive. The game was very obvious that Dallas was kind of at a faster pace. There was more hustle on Dallas's side. And more importantly, the lack of let's get down there, let's push, let's go. The Vegas Golden Knights looked like they were in neutral, looked like they were just going 15 miles an hour, while the Dallas Stars were going 25 miles an hour. I mean, that's really what it looked like in the first couple of minutes. Neutral zone, the takeovers, I mean, turnovers by Shea Theodore, that's just absolutely absurd. I mean, there was multiple turnovers in this game, and the neutral zone was being won by Dallas in this affair. And in the first period, it was very obvious from the start that when it came to the Vegas Golden Knights, they were kind of playing from behind. And if you didn't have Logan Thompson, there was a shot by Sam Steele that should have gone in. Logan Thompson saved it. There was a shot by Ty Dellandrea. It should have gone in. Logan Thompson saved it. Oh my gosh, there was a shot by Tyler Seguin on the left side. That should have gone in. Logan Thompson made incredible save after incredible save after incredible save. Now, am I a huge fan of Logan Thompson? Absolutely. I am a major supporter of Logan Thompson. In fact, one of the biggest videos that we have on our YouTube channel for Vegas Hockey Hub was me talking about the bright future that Logan Thompson had towards the beginning of the 2022-2023 season. I'm a massive fan of Logan Thompson. LT did incredible tonight. But after the first period, halfway into it, he couldn't stop every shot. Now, could he? As in the first period, Wyatt Johnston, the young 20-year-old, a future star in the NHL, I am sure of it, the guy who scored over 30 goals this year on the middle six for Dallas. He scored, brought it home for Dallas to make it a 1-0 game, his first playoff goal, and Jason Robertson with the assist, and Miro Heiskanen with his third assist of the playoffs to make it a 1-0 situation for Dallas. Now, this is actually kind of interesting because the overtime goal, which we're going to talk about later, there's some similarities here between the goal that Johnston did in the first period and what we're going to talk about later. There's a lot of similarities here. But Wyatt Johnston, I mean, 20 years old, first-round pick by Dallas. If I have to give credit to anything Dallas does, and I'm not really the biggest fan of Dallas to begin with, but if I have to give them any credit and acknowledge anything, their scouting department knows how to find young talent. Robertson, Hintz. You also have guys like, for example, that they drafted in the past, like Jamie Benn. You have players like, for example, Miro Heiskanen. There is all of these guys who were drafted and developed by the Dallas Stars. And it's one of their best traits. I mean, Jake Ottinger, they drafted in 2017. This is a Dallas Stars team that knows how to scout, draft, and develop. And Wyatt Johnston, a 20-year-old, is just another example of the Dallas Stars finding a gem in the first round and turning it into a future diamond in Dallas. So it was a 1-0 situation. There was a penalty that was not called on Brett Howden that was really unfortunate. I'm sitting there. I'm at T-Mobile Arena. I'm putting my hands up in the air. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Because when it came to that penalty, it should have been called. Like, I really didn't understand. That should have been hand in the air. He goes to the box, but he didn't. And this is going to be a reoccurring theme this episode. But the officiating was just awful in this game. The referees, I understand you don't want to call penalties, all right, especially in the playoffs. You don't want to call as many penalties as possible. But when there's a guy holding your stick, you need to call that call. When there's somebody who hooks William Karlsson in the third period, you make that call. But it just seemed like the penalties, the referees, the replay booth, all the people in Toronto, they didn't want to call penalties in this game, and they called as few as humanly possible. So, it's just something that was a very noticeable detail watching it at T-Mobile Arena watching it on the big screen, watching it everywhere at T-Mobile Arena. The fact that the penalties was also a major factor against Vegas, and the fact that there was multiple calls that should have been called, but they were not. However, there was 3 calls called against Vegas, and the first one was in the first period. Chandler Stevenson got a high sticking penalty in the middle of the first period. Now, good news for your Vegas Golden Knights is that they would kill off this power play for Dallas, so they'd be 1-for-1 on the penalty kill in this situation. And after the end of the first period, the Vegas Golden Knights are down 1-0. But I have to notice this, and I have to pay attention to this. They were only down 1-0 because of how great Logan Thompson was. Vegas had an opportunity to be way worse in this game. They could have been 5-0 Dallas at the end of the first period if you had Yuri Patera in net. If you had Isaiah Seville in net. If you had Aiden Hill in net. Maybe it'd be a 3-0 game. Logan Thompson did such a fantastic job in this game tonight that's the reason you were only down by 1. He was making plays with his pad, with his stick, with his helmet. I mean, in fact, there was one funny moment where there was a puck that went off the side of his helmet and his latch came undone. And in fact, they had to stop the play so he could get his helmet back on. But when it came to Logan Thompson, the box score is not going to show it. All right? A loss is a loss. You're always going to look at it as a loss. But the one takeaway I want everyone here to notice is that Logan Thompson made this game close. Logan Thompson is the definitive factor as to why the Vegas Golden Knights even went into overtime. The fact that Logan Thompson, we'll go over the box score at the end of this video, but Logan Thompson did an amazing job in Game 3. He was incredible. He was a showstopper. He was unstoppable at times. Now, getting into the second period, your Vegas Golden Knights, they would actually be in a situation where they would go down 2-0 as Miro Heiskanen, with his second goal of the playoffs, with an assist from former Vegas Golden Knight Evgeny Dadonov and Tyler Seguin to make it a 2-0 game for Dallas. You felt the energy at T-Mobile Arena. It was depleting a little bit. It felt like people are starting to give up just ever so slightly on this game. And really, the first 25 minutes of the game, I can't blame you. If you're at New York, and you're eating, and you're watching the box score, and you're watching the game, yeah, you're going to feel a little deflated, right? If you are at T-Mobile Arena and you're watching this and you pay your hard-earned money, yeah, you're probably going to be upset that you're down 2-0 to the Dallas Stars in the first 25 minutes of the game. So what the Vegas Golden Knights needed was a change in pace. What the Vegas Golden Knights needed was the momentum to change. And after an Asa Lindell holding penalty against Jack Eichel, the Vegas Golden Knights would be on the power play. And Jack Eichel actually had a shot. It was a wrist shot. It was on the left side. I thought it had a chance of going past Ottinger, but it just went over the net and it just missed. It was still a 2-0 game. Now, halfway into the second period, there would be a scrum after a play. Keane Kolazar, Sam Steele, Ty Delagendre. You also had William Carrier and Jamie Benn go at it, and they would both receive roughing penalties. They would both go to the box, and it would create a 4-on-4 situation for Vegas and Dallas. And the team that would take advantage on this 4-on-4 situation was your Vegas Golden Knights, as Braden Nabber, my favorite player on the Vegas Golden Knights, his second goal of the playoffs, and it would be a 2-1 game for your Vegas Golden Knights, assisted by Chandler Stevenson with a good setup on this play. And your Vegas Golden Knights cutting the deficit down to 1. And I know people aren't going to give him the credit that he deserves, but Braden McNabb has been, him and Hannafin have been the two best defensemen in this series so far. Braden McNabb is blocking shots. He's shooting the puck. It's getting into the net. He's making the right read. He's getting into the high slot, getting into the point. That is what Braden McNabb is doing pretty well. He's done a really good job in this series. Noah Hannafin on the defensive side, bailing out Logan Thompson, helping him by getting his stick in the way to tip the puck when needed. I will give credit always where credit is due. Noah Hannafin, Alex Pietrangelo, Braden McNabb, they have done a really solid job in this series so far. I can appreciate what they have done in this series. They have done a A+ star effort at this point. So after the Braden McNabb goal, your Vegas Golden Knights are now down 2-1. But would Vegas capitalize? Would the Vegas Golden Knights be able to take advantage of the situation? Well, after a Tomas Hertl high sticking penalty, your Vegas Golden Knights would be on the penalty kill for the third time in this game. And what would your Vegas Golden Knights do? What would Vegas do in order to capitalize on the penalty kill? Well, not only would they kill off the penalty and actually make that a 2-for-2 situation in this game. Special teams did really good in Vegas, actually, in this game. But more importantly, Jack Eichel would score a shorthanded goal and tie the game up for your Vegas Golden Knights. Jack Eichel, assisted by Braden McNabb, so a 2-point night for McNabb, and Jack Eichel, being the superstar, being the sniper, elite player that he is, ties the game up at 2 for your Vegas Golden Knights. And this was a situation where the energy was alive. I felt it. The people that were around me felt it. I was talking to Golden Knights fans here and there. In fact, I was actually going around talking to multiple people, getting their perspective. I also, by the way, appreciate everybody at T-Mobile Arena who was at this game and was having an incredible time. I had an amazing time watching this game. And more importantly, when it came to the Dallas Stars, the second period was the opposite of the first period. The first period was all about hustle, attacking, being aggressive, getting down to the ice. The second period was neutral for Dallas. Whereas in the first period, Vegas looked sluggish, they looked neutral, and then the second period, they looked like they were back at it, and they were going to be going down the puck and getting down the ice and trying to win this game. Now, the third period, there's only one notable occurrence that happened in the third period. It didn't even involve your Vegas Golden Knights. There was not one, but two different fights with Vegas Golden Knights fans. I'm not going to say their names. I'm not going to say who they were. But being in the crowd and seeing it, I'm not going to lie, I actually got a bit of a kick out of it. All right? I understand that we're fans and there's tempers, and I get it. But yeah, there was 2 separate fights in the third period among fans. And that got a little bit of a smile out of my face. I'm not going to lie. So outside of that, the third period, blown calls, no calls from the referees. I already talked about the Carlson hooking penalty. I thought that was absurd. Brett Howden had a really good hit on Sam Steele towards the middle of the third period. That was good. Logan Thompson making more incredible saves. There was a shot that Sam Steele did on the left side. Logan Thompson stopped it pretty well. There was an opportunity by Ty Delagondra that if Noah Hannafin's stick hadn't gotten in the way, Logan Thompson was exposed. Like, Logan Thompson was on this side of the ice. Delagondra was over here. Hannafin's stick just came in the way and stopped it from going in the net. Otherwise, that would have been a goal for Dallas. So, overall, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, this was a game that you really have to sit back in retrospect and actually analyze it from a 50,000-foot view as perseverance for Vegas. You were down a hole early. You had a 2-0 deficit. You work your way back up, and then you get into overtime. And, by the way, for the people that stayed through the overtime, I applaud you because I saw so many people that were heading for the exit, heading for the bus. Me, I was standing right here. I'm keeping my feet right here. I'm watching this overtime game. You know, I don't care if I got to take an Uber or a taxi or what. I'm staying for overtime. This is the playoffs, for crying out loud. Now, getting into the actual overtime, there was a Tomas Hertl situation where he shot it from the middle of the point, and then it went just wide and over the net past Ottinger. I mean, he had the right scope. He had the right situation there. Just the aim was not as low as it needed to be. So, yeah, Tomas Hertl was almost playoff hero for Vegas. It just went a bit too high. Jack Eichel, he almost scored his second goal of the game. If the pad of Jake Ottinger did not get it at the right angle, that would have been a goal for Jack Eichel, past Jake Ottinger. And more importantly, there was a situation where the Golden Knights were on a 2-on-1 odd man rush, and Stevenson checked up, thought about giving it to Stone, and at that point, Miro Heiskanen stopped it with his stick, and it kept it a 2-2 game in overtime for Dallas and Vegas. Now, the crushing blow, all right, the absolute heartbreak for your Vegas Golden Knights came 4 minutes left in the overtime situation. Now, after the Vegas Golden Knights, Jack Eichel in the neutral zone, Wyatt Johnston, he gets a puck on his stick. He's on the right side. He's going to Logan Thompson's left, and he gets around him, maneuvers, does some dangles here, and shoots the puck past Logan Thompson and wins the game for Dallas. So a 3-2 situation. Dallas wins this game, makes it a 2-1 series for Vegas, and what a heartbreaking end and a really unfortunate ending in this game for Dallas and Vegas. I mean, it's just so crushing. It really is. The fact that you came back, you had a 2-2 situation, and you lose with 4 minutes left in overtime. That is just crushing for Golden Knights fans. I understand why some people are not feeling that good this morning. Definitely the next morning, there's going to be a lot of people upset about the matchup and the end result for your Vegas Golden Knights. Now, what was the box score and what was the actual play-by-play for this situation? Logan Thompson, player of the game, by the way. I'm not going to sit here and call it anybody else. Logan Thompson deserves player of the game. 43 saves on 46 shots tonight. Logan Thompson, he deserves a medal for what he is doing in the series. The fact that in game 1, he overcame Dallas and beat them. Game 2, he took command and he overcame certain obstacles to beat Dallas in game 2. And despite the loss in this game, Logan Thompson is the main reason why the Golden Knights were in this battle to begin with. So player of the game, 43 saves on 46 shots, has to go to Logan Thompson. Incredible performance tonight. Now, 46 shots for Dallas, 34 shots for Vegas. Vegas out-hit Dallas by double, as Vegas Golden Knights had 47 hits compared to 23 for Dallas. The Vegas Golden Knights had 3 penalties in this game. Dallas had 2. Now, in the faceoff circle, it was actually dead even, as it was 51% Dallas, 49% Vegas. So kind of an even split there in the faceoff circle for Dallas and Vegas. Now, the blocked shots was a very useful statistic to actually talk about, because your Vegas Golden Knights had 32 blocked shots in this game, and a lot of them came from 2 guys, by the way. 27 blocked shots from the Dallas Stars. And in the takeaway category, the Dallas Stars had more takeaways than Vegas, 11-9 in this game. When it came to power play opportunities, Vegas Golden Knights went 0 for 1 on the power play, but went 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. Good job by Vegas there. And I'm not going to go through every single player when it comes to the box score, but there's some notables I do want to mention. Like, for example, I want to give praise to Brayden McNabb for not just having a 2-point night, not just for having 4 shots on net, but for his 5 blocked shots, his 4 hits, and his 1 takeaway. Brayden McNabb was busy in this game. He did a really good job. Somebody else who also put up a good performance in this game, you had guys like, for example, Jack Eichel, 6 shots on net and a block shot in this game. He also had a takeaway, he had a hit, and he scored that second goal of the game for Vegas. So Jack Eichel did his job. Brayden McNabb, he did his job. Somebody else who also did his job was Jonathan Marchessault. Couple of block shots, a couple of hits, and he had a takeaway in this game as well. And not bad for Jonathan Marchessault, who was on the ice for 21 minutes in this game. The guy who actually had the most amount of minutes on the ice was Brayden McNabb. He had around 29 minutes of ice time in this game. And in the faceoff circle, Tomas Hertl had the most faceoff wins with 12 for your Vegas Golden Knights. Nick Waugh had the next one with 9. So your Vegas Golden Knights, this is just a situation where game 3, you lose this one. You have to go back on Monday to T-Mobile Arena for game 4. But what this game taught me, and what this game should teach you, is that Logan Thompson can carry this team when he needs to be. Is that it is no longer the argument, is the goalie carrying the team or is the team carrying the goalie? Because when Logan Thompson first got here, there was people making the argument that since he's not Marc-Andre Fleury, since he's not Robin Lehner, that he would not be able to carry this team on his back. And despite the fact that he was even an all-star this past season, you know, his first season being a full-time starter, he was an all-star for Vegas. There was people making the argument that he is not a guy that can carry the team on his back. Well, what do you know? In his first 3 playoff starts, 2-1, and by the way, his stat sheet in the playoffs, and I'm sorry to sound like somebody who is obsessing over Logan Thompson, but I just have to give credit and praise to what he is doing in the playoffs right now. This is a guy in Logan Thompson who in his first playoff series, he has a goals against average of 2.1, a save percentage of 92.7, and it's also the same Logan Thompson who has had to save 89 shots in this series. So Logan Thompson, star of the game, playoff MVP so far. And your Vegas Golden Knights, they'll be back on Monday, and we will be here to talk about it and break down everything here on Vegas Hockey Hub. So until next time, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.